In the quiet enclave of Belle Haven, a serene neighborhood nestled within the affluent town of Greenwich, Connecticut, the air was thick with the anticipation of Halloween. Yet, beneath the surface of this seemingly idyllic community, shadows loomed. It is here that the tragic tale of Martha Moxley unfolds, a narrative that would forever alter the fabric of this peaceful suburb. Martha Moxley was a beacon of youthful exuberance, her life a tapestry of laughter, friendships, and the quintessential joys of adolescence. Born in the vibrant city of San Francisco, California, Martha and her family sought a new beginning in the East, settling in the picturesque streets of Belle Haven in 1974. Her infectious spirit and warm nature allowed her to forge friendships with ease, making her a beloved figure among her peers. Yet the tranquility of Belle Haven was shattered on the eve of Halloween in 1975, a night known to locals as Mischief Night. On this night, the air was filled with the innocent laughter of children partaking in playful pranks, a tradition of harmless mischief. However, the events of this particular evening would diverge from the norm, descending into a tragedy that would haunt the community for decades. Across the street from the Moxleys lived the Skakel family, a household synonymous with prestige and influence, owing to their familial ties to the Kennedy dynasty. Neighborhood kids in a world of tennis matches and shared adventures. Among them, Martha found camaraderie with Tommy and Michael Skakel, brothers who would play pivotal roles in the events to come. As the evening unfolded, the Skakel children and Martha embarked on a journey through the neighborhood, a ritualistic drive in one of the family's luxurious vehicles. The night was filled with laughter and the kind of innocent fun that defined their teenage years. Yet, as the clock ticked towards the late hours, a subtle shift occurred. Accounts from that fateful night paint a picture of Martha and Tommy sharing moments of intimacy, their youthful flirtation hidden behind the veil of darkness. The innocence of the night was shattered when Martha was last seen with Tommy, disappearing behind a fence, a moment that would become a focal point of a harrowing investigation. Feeless body in her own front yard, a chilling reminder of the fragility of life. The investigation that ensued was a painstaking journey through the pages of Martha's diary, a treasure trove of personal reflections now scrutinized for clues. Investigators were relentless in their pursuit, driven by the need to unravel the mystery that had claimed a young life so violently. The case of Martha Moxley remains a haunting chapter in the annals of true crime, a story of innocence lost and justice sought. It serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities that lie beneath the surface of even the most serene communities, and the enduring quest for truth in the face of unspeakable tragedy. The night was still, the air heavy with anticipation, as Martha Moxley stepped out into the evening. She had left her home merely 30 minutes prior, yet notices and concern quickly transformed into alarm. Dorothy, Martha's mother, took it upon herself to visit the Skakel residence, hoping for some news, perhaps a glimpse of her daughter. Instead, she was met with a surreal and unsettling scene. Michael Skakel, one of the Skakel children, was found in a disheveled state, intoxicated, unclothed, and barely coherent. He professed ignorance, claiming he had not seen Martha since the previous night. The authorities were summoned, their presence a beacon of dread that descended upon the Moxley home and the surrounding neighborhood. The search for Martha intensified, a collective effort that soon unearthed a grim discovery. Beneath a tree, a young girl lay lifeless. Initially, the identity of the victim was obscured. Martha's hair was blonde, yet the hair on this body was a deep, unnatural red. It was not hair dye, but rather the sanguine stain of blood, a testament to the violence she had endured. Martha had been subjected to a brutal assault. Her head bore the marks of a savage beating. The weapon, a 6-iron golf club, lay shattered nearby, a silent witness to the ferocity of the attack. The autopsy would reveal the horror in stark detail. She had been struck repeatedly with such force that the club had broken. Her life was extinguished in a moment of fury, her body then dragged from near her driveway to the tree, leaving a haunting trail across her own front yard. The scene spoke of an intense personal rage. What could have incited such a heinous act? As investigators scrutinized the broken golf club, the origins of the weapon became a crucial lead. It belonged to a set owned by Anne Skakel, the mother of Tommy Skakel, who was also the last person known to have seen Martha alive. This revelation added layers of complexity to the investigation. The question loomed large. Could Anne have been involved in Martha's demise? Or was there another hand wielding the club? The path to answers would be arduous, fraught with the intricacies of human relationships and emotions. The investigation stretched on, years passing before clarity began to emerge. Martha's interactions with the Skakel family were scrutinized. Friends recalled that Tommy Skakel harbored feelings for Martha, feelings that were not reciprocated. Martha's diary, an intimate window into her thoughts, provided crucial insights. She had documented Tommy's unwanted advances, his attempts to wrap his arms around her, leaving her uncomfortable and wary. Just weeks before her death, she had penned her apprehensions, a foreshadowing of the tragedy to come. Despite her friendship with the Skakel boys, it was clear that Martha's relationship with them was platonic. The Skakel children, products of privilege and wealth, were known for their rebellious antics, keeping many at arm's length. Their lifestyle, marked by indulgence and a sense of entitlement, was a stark contrast to Martha's own values. Her diary entries revealed her growing disillusionment, noting Michael's obnoxious behavior when under the influence of alcohol. The investigation into Martha's murder was not merely a quest for justice, but a journey into the heart of human complexity. It was a reminder that beneath the veneer of affluence and respectability, dark impulses can simmer, waiting for the slightest provocation to erupt. As the pieces of the puzzle gradually fell into place, the tragic loss of a young life stood as a somber testament to the destructive power of unbridled emotion. In the quiet suburb of Belle Haven, Connecticut, the air was thick with the weight of unspoken secrets and untold tragedies. Within the walls of the Skakel residence, a storm brewed beneath the facade of privilege and opulence. The Skakel children, left to navigate their tumultuous world largely unsupervised, found themselves caught in the cross-currents of a family unraveling. Their mother, the family's heart, had succumbed to a relentless battle with cancer, leaving behind a void filled with chaos and neglect. Their father, Rushton Skakel, was a man consumed by his own pursuits, often absent, hosting parties that echoed with laughter and music, while his children drifted in the background, shadows in their own home. Amidst this disarray, the tragic murder of Martha Moxley cast a long, dark shadow. 15-year-old Tommy Skakel, the last known person to have been seen with Martha, became an immediate focus for investigators. The police, in their search for answers, found themselves questioning Tommy's every move. Yet he stood firm with an alibi. He asserted that by 9:30 that evening, he had returned home to fulfill his responsibilities, a claim corroborated by his tutor, Ken Littleton. Ken, a newcomer to the household, recalled watching television with Tommy at 10 o'clock, noting nothing peculiar in his demeanor. However, the Skakel family, wrapped in a cocoon of wealth and influence, quickly drew their legal battalion. In a move as abrupt as it was mysterious, Ken Littleton was dismissed from his position. This marked the beginning of a downward spiral for Ken, a descent into alcoholism, substance abuse, and minor criminal activity. Whispers circulated that Ken harbored more knowledge than he disclosed, yet without motive or evidence, the police were at an impasse. The case, fraught with dead ends and unanswered questions, grew cold. It wasn't until Rushton Skakel took matters into his own hands, hiring private investigators to re-examine the evidence, that the tides began to shift. The culmination of their findings, the Sutton Report, was a catalyst. Its contents leaked to the public in 1995. The report shifted the spotlight from Tommy to his younger brother Michael Skakel, then a mere 15 years old. Michael's initial account to the police was straightforward. He claimed to have retired to bed by 11:30 after an evening spent watching television with friends. Yet the Sutton report unveiled a deeply unsettling recounting. Michael confessed that around midnight, he climbed a tree beneath Martha's window, engaging in behavior that was both invasive and inappropriate. This revelation begged the question, why had Michael withheld this information from the authorities for so long? What other truths lay buried beneath his silence? As the investigation continued, it emerged that Tommy, too, had been less than truthful. Contrary to his statements, he had lingered with Martha for approximately 20 minutes beyond his claimed departure time. Fearing the implications of this timeline, Tommy may have pressured Ken into providing a false alibi. Then, a new twist emerged from the shadows of the past. Former classmates from Elon School, an institution for troubled youth, came forward with damning testimonies. They alleged that Michael had confessed to the murder of Martha Moxley, a chilling admission that sent ripples through the community and reignited the investigation. In the end, the story of the Skakel family is a somber reflection on the complexities of human nature and the tangled web of truth and deception. It is a reminder of the shadows that lurk behind closed doors and the relentless pursuit of justice that can illuminate even the darkest corners. The case of Martha Moxley remains a testament to the enduring quest for answers, where the past continues to echo into the present, and the truth, though elusive, is a light that refuses to be extinguished. In the quiet, affluent enclave of Greenwich, Connecticut, a chilling mystery unfolded, a tale entwined with the powerful Kennedy family. It was a story that captivated the nation, igniting imaginations with its mix of privilege, scandal, and tragedy. At its heart was Michael Skakel, a cousin of the Kennedys, whose life was forever altered by a single night in October 1975, when 15-year-old Martha Moxley was brutally murdered. Decades later, whispers of Michael's involvement in the crime began to surface, whispered among classmates and friends. One student recalled Michael's brazen confidence, his belief that his Kennedy family connections would shield him from any consequences. The allegations were so audacious, so staggering, that law enforcement could no longer ignore them. The shadow of doubt grew darker and more persistent, prompting a reinvestigation that would span years. 3 years after the allegations came to light, prosecutors sought a one-man grand jury to meticulously examine the evidence, an arduous task that took 18 months. The decision was made to bring Michael Skakel to trial for Martha's murder, an accusation that reverberated through the corridors of justice. On January 9th, in the year 2000, Michael was arrested and charged as an adult, a shocking development in a case that had lain dormant for nearly 3 decades. The trial commenced in May 2002, 27 years after Martha's untimely death. Outside the courthouse, a media frenzy erupted. Spectators, journalists, and law enforcement officers crowded the premises, their presence a testament to the case's notoriety. The public was riveted by the spectacle. A Kennedy family cousin accused of murder was front-page news, a drama unfolding in real time. Michael enlisted the services of attorney Mickey Sherman, a defense lawyer with a burgeoning reputation in the media. In the courtroom, prosecutor Jonathan Benedict presented a compelling narrative, meticulously constructing the case against Michael. The prosecution highlighted a motive rooted in jealousy. Michael had harbored feelings for Martha, but she had favored his brother Tommy, igniting a rivalry that simmered beneath the surface. In an early draft of his memoir, Michael confessed his desire for Martha to be more than a friend, an admission that painted a picture of unrequited love and simmering resentment. Due to the passage of time, the case hinged on witness testimonies and circumstantial evidence, as DNA testing was not an option. Among the pivotal testimonies was that of a former classmate from Elon's school, who claimed Michael had confessed to killing Martha with a golf club, a chilling account that resounded through the courtroom. The classmate, however, would not see the trial's conclusion, having succumbed to a drug overdose before proceedings began. A significant piece of evidence was a voice recording of Michael, expressing fear of being caught. The prosecution argued it was a damning admission of guilt, suggesting he feared the truth of Martha's murder would come to light. Yet the defense contested this interpretation, asserting that Michael's fear was unrelated to the murder. They contended the recording referred to a separate incident that night when Michael had been outside Martha's window, watching her, a disturbing act in its own right but distinct from the crime. As the trial drew to a close, the tension in the courtroom was palpable. Both the prosecution and defense delivered impassioned closing arguments, leaving the jury and the public to ponder the enigma of Michael Skakel. Could a man with such close ties to the illustrious Kennedy family truly be found guilty of murder? The question lingered, a testament to the enduring complexity of justice and the intricate web of human emotion. In the end, the trial of Michael Skakel stands as a reminder that beneath the facade of privilege and power, the human heart remains a labyrinth, capable of harboring both light and shadow. Narrative Tony Bryant provided could unravel the conviction that had gripped Michael Skakel. It was a story shrouded in shadows and whispered secrets, revealing a chilling tale of jealousy and youthful recklessness on one fateful night in Greenwich, Connecticut. The murder of Martha Moxley had haunted the affluent community since Halloween of 1975, when her lifeless body was discovered beneath a tree, bludgeoned with a golf club. For years, the case remained unsolved, a specter of tragedy in the otherwise serene neighborhood. The Skakel family, relatives of the Kennedys, found themselves at the center of an investigation that spanned decades, marked by suspicion and scandal. Michael Skakel, a teenager at the time of Martha's death, lived in the shadow of suspicion, his name whispered in hushed tones. The case against him was built on a foundation of circumstantial evidence, including statements from fellow students and a timeline that placed him near the scene. Yet the evidence lacked the solidity required to quench the thirst for justice. In the early 2000s, the trial finally commenced, drawing national attention as it delved into the tangled web of privilege and power. The jury's verdict in June 2002 sent shockwaves through the courtroom. Michael Skakel was found guilty, a decision that seemed to finally close the chapter on a long-standing mystery. But for Robert Kennedy Jr., the verdict was not the end, but rather the beginning of a crusade for what he believed was justice. Kennedy, an environmental lawyer and activist with a reputation for challenging the status quo, dissected the case with the meticulousness of a surgeon. He argued that Michael's conviction was a miscarriage of justice, a narrative spun from unreliable testimonies and misinterpreted evidence. The case hinged, in part, on the recollections of a former Elon school student whose credibility was as frayed as the edges of an old newspaper, his testimony tainted by drug use and hearsay. It was amidst this climate of doubt and determination that Tony Bryant's story emerged, a tale that added a new dimension to the narrative. Tony, burdened by years of silence, recounted a chilling evening spent with friends Al and Burton, whose idle talk of violence took a sinister turn. His account painted a picture of a night steeped in teenage bravado and jealousy, a backdrop against which Martha's tragic fate was sealed. Tony's revelations prompted Michael's legal team to seek a retrial in 2005, armed with a narrative that suggested another path, another possibility. Yet the wheels of justice turned slowly, mired in procedural complexities and the weight of past judgments. As the years passed, the case became a symbol of the labyrinthine journey to uncover truth, a journey fraught with challenges and revelations. In the tapestry of human history, the story of Martha Moxley and Michael Skakel is a stark reminder of the elusiveness of truth and the enduring quest for justice. It is a narrative that transcends the bounds of time, echoing the complexities of human nature and the shadows that linger long after the final verdict. As the chapters of this tale unfold, they leave us pondering the intricate dance of fate and justice, and the delicate balance between guilt and innocence in the courts of law and public opinion. In a web of intricate deception and legal maneuvering, an innocent man languished behind bars, while the true perpetrator roamed free. The case was fraught with twists and turns, each more convoluted than the last. At the heart of this saga was Tony, a man whose silence spoke volumes. When called upon to testify, he stood firm in his refusal, without the assurance of immunity. The specter of culpability loomed large, casting a shadow over his every word. Tony, steadfast in his claims of innocence, reluctantly admitted to facilitating the meeting between Al, Burton, and the ill-fated Belle Haven. This decision, though seemingly innocuous, painted him in a dubious light. His recorded statement, a solitary echo in the courtroom, was ultimately dismissed by a jury skeptical of its veracity. In a narrow 4-1 verdict, the court affirmed Michael's conviction, a judgment that would become a lightning rod for controversy. Enter Robert Kennedy Jr., a stalwart advocate for justice who took up Michael's cause with fervor. In 2016, he released Framed, a tome that sought to unravel the tangled threads of this perplexing case. Kennedy's narrative leaned heavily on Tony's recounting of events and included excerpts from Martha's diary as supposed corroboration. Yet, the diary was silent on the identities of Al, Tony, and Burton, mentioning only a night of dancing with unnamed boys who later denied any knowledge of the trio's presence. Kennedy, undeterred by the absence of concrete evidence, posited that these phantom boys were indeed the men in question. However, the lack of substantiation rendered his theory speculative at best. Al's legal representative decried the accusations as unfounded, arguing that Michael's defense had unjustly targeted Al due to his race, casting him as an easy scapegoat. Meanwhile, Michael, with his storied connections to the Kennedy dynasty, was portrayed as the wronged party. This legal quagmire soon ensnared Mickey Sherman, Michael's erstwhile attorney. Sherman's conduct during the original trial came under scrutiny as Michael's new defense team alleged negligence. They contended that Sherman's pursuit of media notoriety overshadowed his duty to his client, claiming exorbitant fees while failing to mount an adequate defense. In October 2013, a seismic shift occurred when Michael was granted a new hearing by Judge Thomas Bishop in Connecticut. This unexpected turn of events rattled prosecutors and Martha's family, who had long believed the case was conclusively closed. Despite their confidence in the state's position, Judge Bishop's ruling suggested otherwise. He criticized Michael's original defense for not delving deeper into the evidence, hinting at missed opportunities that could have altered the trial's outcome. Amidst the chaos, the courtroom became a stage for the unfolding drama of human frailty and ambition. The players were ensconced in privilege and power, their lives intertwined with scandal and suspicion. Tony, with his checkered past, was mired in legal troubles of his own, serving a sentence for tax evasion and bearing the weight of previous arrests for armed robbery. The saga of Michael, Tony, Al, and Burton was a tapestry woven with threads of wealth, notoriety, and the relentless pursuit of truth. As the legal battle raged on, the lines between victim and perpetrator blurred, leaving a legacy of questions unanswered. In the end, the story serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities of justice, where the truth is often obscured by the shadows of human imperfection. In the annals of American justice, few cases have woven as intricate and contentious a tapestry as the murder of Martha Moxley. The investigation, spanning decades, is marked by a series of twists and turns that have left the Moxley family and the public grappling for a semblance of closure. As the courtroom drama unfolded, attention shifted to the defense strategies employed by Mickey Sherman, whose handling of the trial was scrutinized heavily. The scrutiny was not without reason, as the defense's approach was pivotal in shaping the narrative surrounding the night of the murder. The case against Michael Skakel, a member of a prominent family linked to the Kennedys, was fraught with complications. Yet the shadows of suspicion loomed equally over his brother, Tommy Skakel. Tommy Skakel was the last known person to have been with Martha on that fateful night in 1975. His initial statements to the police were marred by inconsistencies, casting a pall of doubt over his innocence. The brothers, embroiled in a web of familial loyalty and accusation, found themselves at the center of a legal maelstrom, each pointing the finger at the other in a desperate bid to deflect blame. In November of 2013, Michael Skakel was released from jail after a mere month, having posted a staggering $1.2 million bond. His release was tethered with stringent conditions. A GPS monitor was affixed to ensure he remained in Connecticut. He was barred from contacting the Moxley family, and he was required to check in regularly. Yet, defying these conditions, Michael relocated to Westchester County, New York, shortly after his release, a move that highlighted the complexities of enforcing legal restrictions on individuals of his stature. Despite this breach of conditions, Michael faced no significant repercussions. The legal pendulum swung once more in December 2016, when the Connecticut Supreme Court reinstated his murder conviction by a narrow margin, ruling that his original defense had been sufficient. Michael was sent back to prison, only for the same court to reverse its decision in May 2018, granting him a new trial. This reversal underscored the contentious nature of the evidence, or lack thereof, against him. The case by this point had become an enigma, with each legal maneuver deepening the mystery rather than resolving it. Ultimately, the judges concluded that the evidence was insufficient to convict Michael beyond a reasonable doubt. The specter of guilt lingered, yet the foundations of justice demanded more than mere conjecture. The tragedy of Martha Moxley's case lies not only in the loss of a young life, but also in the enduring absence of answers. As the years have turned into decades, the Moxley family remains ensnared in a limbo of uncertainty. The narrative is punctuated by theories and accusations, with some convinced of Michael's culpability, while others point to Tommy as the true perpetrator. The speculation surrounding Tommy Skakel's involvement is fueled by accounts of Martha's alleged rejection of his advances, a narrative that paints a picture of a crime born of rage and spurned affection. According to this theory, Tommy fabricated his alibi, enlisting the aid of friends to construct a facade of innocence. Yet, as the sands of time continue to slip away, the truth remains elusive. The murder of Martha Moxley stands as a chilling reminder of the complexities of human nature and the labyrinthine path of justice. It is a tale that compels us to reflect on the nature of evidence and the profound weight of doubt, urging us to confront the uncomfortable reality that sometimes justice is not synonymous with certainty. A shadowy theory lingers over the tragic murder of Martha Moxley, suggesting that both Michael and Tommy Skakel played a role in her untimely death. Proponents of this conjecture highlight the deceit woven by the brothers during the investigation and point to Tommy as the last known person to have seen Martha alive. The dismissal of Ken Littleton, who initially provided Tommy with an alibi, adds a layer of suspicion, as his life spiraled into chaos thereafter. Some posit that Ken's alibi was born out of a guilty conscience, shielding a darker truth. Despite these suspicions, the absence of concrete evidence leaves these claims in the realm of speculation. The chilling nature of Martha's murder is amplified when viewed through this lens, not solely due to the crime's brutality, but also due to the complex aftermath that ensued. The case is steeped in a web of privilege and influence, where power and wealth have the potential to distort justice, transforming the guilty into innocents, and obscuring the truth beneath legal stratagems and public narratives. Nearly 50 years later, The burden of this unresolved tragedy falls upon John Moxley, the last surviving member of his family. In his 60s, he carries the weight of that fateful night, driven by an unyielding quest for answers and justice that remains elusive. This pursuit is shared by many who have lost loved ones to violence, a profound need for closure and understanding. At the heart of this enduring mystery lies the haunting question, why? Why would anyone take the life of a kind and innocent young girl?